Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
We're Bob and Debbie Nothdurft in Kirksville, Missouri. Typically, if you follow us, I choose hymns from the Cokesbury Worship Hymnal or songs from the 70s. Today I'm going to sing a little more contemporary Christian song written by Peter Mayer, released in 1999. It's called Holy Now. And sometimes the words are not easy to understand when people are singing, so I'm going to read some of the verses and comment on them as we proceed. First verse. When I was a boy, each week we would go to church and pay attention to the priest, and he'd read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow, and today the only difference is everything is holy now. Now, we typically live in a compartmentalized society. I think some people think that God can be put in boxes and stays only in the church box and doesn't meddle in other parts of their lives. And I remember one time our band was playing in a local club, and during the first hour we played Amazing Grace, and I Saw the Light. And during the break, one of the club members came up and said, "Don't play any more religious music in here." And I guess they thought God wasn't there. And I think some of the people in organized crimes would go to church and celebrate sacraments and go to confession, but whenever they were outside of that, they did all kind of terrible things. Some think that they can hide from God. I think Adam and Eve tried that in the garden after they'd eaten the forbidden fruit. But we can't escape God, because God invades every part of our lives, and wherever we are standing on holy ground. I think the Israelites thought that they had to be in the temple to worship, but one of the most inspiring times for me was when Pastor Scott and Reverend Jennifer gathered us on our mission trip to Puerto Rico along the shore of the water. And we sang, "Lord, you have come to the lakeshore," and celebrated communion. Jesus told the woman at the well in John 4:21-24,
Woman, Jesus replied, "Believe me, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You Samaritans worship what you do not know. We worship what we do know, for salvation is from the Jews. Yet a time is coming and has now come when the true worshipers will worship the Father in the Spirit and in truth, for they are the kind of worshipers the Father seeks. God is Spirit, and his worshipers must worship in the Spirit and in truth."
The second verse says, when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track because everything's a miracle. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. There's a story of a man that was traveling down a particularly dangerous part of the highway and ran off the road and turned over several times. And he was telling his friend, I came out of that and I didn't even have a scratch. It was just a total miracle. His friend said, the other day I was traveling down that exact same part of the highway and I didn't even go off the road. That is also a miracle. He goes on to say in the song, wine from water is not so small, but an even better miracle is that anything is here at all. Sometimes people ask, why are we here? You can't answer that question without God, because nothing makes any sense without God. Another verse says, when holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, because everything is holy now.
Psalms 24, verses 1 and 2. The earth is the Lord's, and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. For he founded it on the seas and established it on the waters.
For me, God's Spirit is present in every part of space and beyond, in every atom, in every particle, in every bundle of energy. And when I pray, I'm not praying to a God up there or out there, but a God who is right there in me. The last verse is, read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. And this morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird singing like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. Made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. I remember Bruce Larson telling about a woman who in her 60s became an evangelist for Jesus and traveled around in a little old Volkswagen. Her name was Gertrude Behana. And Gertrude Behana told him one day, you know, you don't need to see a bush that's burning that doesn't burn up. Any old bush will do. So we can encounter the living Lord near any old bush, or an office chair, or a tree, or a red-winged bird, because everything is holy. This part of our liturgical year is called ordinary time, but it's anything but ordinary, because every day, every second of our lives is special and holy and full of miracles. Holy now. When I was a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track. Everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better miracle is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, barely wet my fingertips, now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. Used to be a world out there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face, say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. Tell you that it can't be done. Morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird, shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. Made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out how things have changed since then. Everything's holy now. Used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. I suggest that you look up on YouTube Holy Now, or Everything is Holy Now, and look at the presentation. It's got a lot of beautiful photography. And so just spend some time in the amazing world of God, because everything is holy.